Hey, Joyful Journeyer. Anita Adams here, your host. And today I am excited to introduce you to Edina Mauvana, a spirituality consultant and the creator of the Unity Consciousness Collective. Through her embodied ascension and quantum leap program, Edina coaches her clients on ascension and plays matchmaker between spiritual seekers and their ideal mentors and services for life-changing experiences. She's also the host of Into the Light, founder of Not That Kind of Muslim, author of Ascension is the New Attraction, and specializes in ascension journey mapping. Welcome, Edina. I am so thrilled to have you here with me today.
Thank you so much, Anita. That was a great introduction. I think I put too many things like all over the place, but it was like, what are all these things? I know.
No, it's great. And I actually want to dive into what you do because you do a lot. And I want to kind of piece it together and get some more clarity on all the great work that you're doing in the world. So
Yeah, thank you.
why don't we actually start there and break it down a little bit? So first, what is a spirituality consultant, and is that different than a spiritual coach?
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that I get asked a lot about because I am doing spirituality consulting services and as a whole umbrella of number of different things that have tied together, with media and services to get ideal clients for the light workers and spiritual seekers who want different products and services and coaching, for where they are in their spiritual journey. So as a consultant, I'm really like kind of diagnosing a problem and finding solutions and pointing people in the right direction. And in that process, people do work with me one-on-one as my clients. But in reality, I'm facilitating getting together with your best healer or practitioner or, mentor, coach, or whatever it is in the spiritual journey process. And so that is how the spirituality consulting is a little bit different than like just the one-on-one. I'm going to be your coach and kind of teach you how to do something kind of thing. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, it does. And thank you for explaining that. So I get if a client comes to you and maybe they don't know where there's such an array of people in the
Yeah,
spirituality world,
right.
so how do you figure out what would be the best modality or type of person to work with to help me find what I'm seeking? So that's basically what you're doing, that kind of matchmaking.
Yes, and that's part of the mapping kind of process. So I have something I do called Ascension journey mapping, which is, where you are, what the problems are, and we go through a process of understanding like how, you view your soul's purpose in the world and all these different things from, I work with different people from religious backgrounds and different, spiritual traditions. I myself come from a Muslim background, and so there's a lot of different like things going on in the spiritually aware community that people don't understand from that particular religious background. And so that's a big piece, as well as just working with people who are opening up on their spiritual journey and they're starting to hear things about ascension and law of attraction, and they want to know what these things are. And so I basically help understand and digest these things. So my quantum embodied ascension, unity consciousness, and quantum leap program, which is what I'm running now with my like expert partners. That's a program which people can come into, and we have a guest speaker every week, and we talk on all kinds of different issues: plant medicine, quantum energy healing, like all things that are going on in the universe. And then we're getting expert input and advice and direction and just knowledge, and then that's accelerating the healing journey and the spiritual journey process. So that's what we're doing every week, and I'm launching it actually this week is our first session, and then it's a year-round program that I've started scheduling out into March and April and all of that. So yeah, that's what we're doing as far as getting that information out there and that program together.
Okay, very cool. This a bunch of questions are kind of spiraling.
I know
Okay,
it's too
so
much.
Okay, I love this idea of ascension journey mapping. First off, ascension, your ascension, is that like, are you talking about helping clients step into their highest self? Is that what ascension?
Yeah, so it is. And this is my book. I don't know if you have a visual, but
I do.
they came
Yes.
out in April, and it's entitled Ascension is the New Attraction. So like we've all heard about law of attraction and how we are kind of energy beings on the planet, and like attracts like, and you have to do this work to activate the law of attraction, and then start to manifest the best and highest self life that we want, right? So this is what we're now seeing as being part of what the ascension process is this process that's happening to the whole planet, all of us collectively on a spiritual level, whether we're aware of it or not, regardless of our religious tradition or spiritual practices. Like the concept around ascension is the whole earth is moving into these higher frequencies. And this is where people will talk about like, oh, the fifth dimensional states, or the new earth, so this is where people are starting to talk about these dimensions and frequencies. So it's all rooted in like law of attraction and energy and new ways of kind of looking at the universe from an energy perspective. So that's what the quantum, you'll hear about like quantum energy healers and things like that. So those are the experts that I interview on my show, and they come from all different backgrounds. Like a lot of people have medical degrees, doctors. People are talking about healing the body and medical intuitives and all of this stuff. So this is part of that kind of universal global consciousness awakening that we're seeing kind of happening on the planet right now. So that's really what I feel like is going on with this ascension process.
Very cool. I'm seeing it too and experiencing it as well. Just I feel like I'm connecting more and more with people that are spiritually energized, if that's a way of saying it.
Yeah,
There's a greater awareness.
awesome.
And it's not just because I'm doing this podcast, like I'm randomly meeting people and having conversations about this journey that we seem to
Yeah,
be on, and just
yeah,
connecting with people with like-minded energy, and it's really mystical in a way, that we're seeing more of that. So and so
yeah.
that's
And
so do
people are
you
using like the terminology more like
yeah.
vibes, and you just it's like our whole consciousness is doing something, as a collective, and that's what we're seeing with how technology is advancing, moving into AI, all of this stuff, right? And so our
Wait a minute.
consciousnesses are.
How is AI and unity consciousness connected? Is there a connection there?
Oh yeah. So what I see happening is like the consciousness awakening is this process of how humanity is evolving into the technology age, and social media information age, everything that's progressed, and now AI is kind of like the newest frontier of what that means for consciousness. Like it's like the fake consciousness and AI versus like the human, the real human. So when like people are talking in the spiritually aware community, there's like a lot of concern around AI. There's even also like a adverse reaction into like entering your mind into these systems. And so, this is like the new frontier of what we're going to be experiencing in humanity, and kind of like the next levels. So and I think a lot of people even talk about breaking out of the matrix, for example, and that being a metaphor for getting out of these, like breaking free from the shackles and then moving into the new era. And so this is all part of that messaging around lower 3D, lower density reality versus 5D and higher accelerated reality. Like that's where we're progressing to. So um that's a lot of information, and I'm like, I also I'm not one of the most like I came to Ascension in my own journey. Like I started understanding these things maybe about a year or two ago. And so this is what transformed my life from being like a normal kind of conventional, I guess, from the Islam monotheistic kind of just those kind of constricted belief system into a whole world of like spiritually aware community going on.
Okay. I'm not still not getting the connection between AI and higher consciousness. And so and maybe, there's part of me that feels that the advancement in technology is can hurt our spiritual growth, our spiritual development. We need to be advancing spiritually faster if because I feel like we're being, I'm sorry, I'm muddling my words, but I feel like we're being outpaced in the technological world and not
Mm.
with the spiritual world. But maybe what you're saying is that we're actually starting to evolve more quickly spiritually. Maybe there's an evolution that's happening faster right now than we have seen in a while. And it's maybe it's starting to level out a little. I don't know, but I do feel that there is some disconnect there between the advancement in technology and our spiritual advancement. And if you're saying, and maybe I'm hearing you incorrectly, that there is a greater connection between our technological advancement and our spiritual advancement, then I'm excited because I'd like to see that, but I'm having a
Yeah.
hard time drawing the connections.
Well, I like to look at it. So you asked me earlier about like unity consciousness also, because um part of what I think is going on as we progress is we're dismantling these ideas of separation. Like some people would say is the biggest illusion of separation. And that is when we start looking at the foundation of unity consciousness. And what that means is if we're all one and one is all, and we go into these hermetic principles, like there's all kinds of different roots of where that comes from. But when we start to, yeah, dismantle that, and that's where the technological age comes in, because, as a collective, what we're dealing with right now is like a purging of the lower density, the trauma based, guilt, fear, shame, lower density realities that we're programmed with, and all of this trauma is surfacing, and we're healing through that. So this is a process of collective consciousness
Right.
awakening,
Okay.
and it's rooted in that principle of unity consciousness. And then when you get into the advancement of the technological era with AI, then you're really moving into the next levels of what it means to be uh, conscious and sentient
Right.
and connected to God's source and like Allah, or real unity consciousness, versus artificial intelligence, which is the polarity
Got it.
enemy of the future.
Okay, got it. I got it. It's almost like it's forcing us to look at what is consciousness, and in that
Yeah, and what
process,
is unity,
what is unity?
and how is this manifesting? And then you have massive incidents like Israel and Palestine right now taking place as we speak. And, the consciousness community is, oh, what is this? This is a distraction. This is focused on fear based shame, guilt, divisiveness. Like at war is the lowest level of, where, where densities are needing to clear. And so this purging effect is happening on an individual level in our interpersonal relationships and our marriages and divorce rate, everything, children, parenting, and as parents, I'm a mom of two, we're actively dismantling the generational trauma that we're being, consciously not passing on to our children at this time. And so the argument is this generation and who we are here on earth is like so powerful because it's happening now. Like these things are occurring, and this is the greatest global consciousness awakening that humanity has ever seen. And so this is very important work, and this is how it's transpiring. So that's what we're rooting it in, is that concept of ascension. Yay.
Yay. Right. Right.
Yes.
Wow. And it feels like we're going through so much pain in the process, to
Yeah.
get there. Which
And
is
personally, a lot of pain and traumas, and
Yeah, and on a
Yeah,
global.
mental health. We had
Yeah,
the pandemic,
yeah,
so it's all being accelerated in important ways, and um yeah, people are needing support, uh in all levels, and sometimes, like you don't have a lot of money, or you need to find support. So like with my spirituality consulting services, we can help with little things, like you can take weekly class, like I'm doing invite only events, talking to healers. We have different products and services and things that are available for healing your body or whatever issues are going on, and then working with all different expert partners in the collective. So wherever someone is, whatever services and support, that's what I'm providing, and where we go with all of that healing work. It's like the healing work is just, it's immense right now. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, beautiful. What brought you into doing the work you're doing?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. It's like what I have actually a corporate background in enterprise, like software sales. I was impacted by the tech layoffs earlier, like in the beginning of the year. And so I had been doing my podcast and coaching things, a couple things, from a year or two back, but that I was planning. But then I got impacted by the layoffs, and so I like diverted into doing this. And I put out my book and my podcast, and I just led a more spiritually focused and a kind of aligned life. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. I mean, I had burnout, I have
Mm.
had, and I also had a difficult divorce 5 years ago. And so I've gone through my own journey of kind of healing through generational trauma and codependencies and relationships. And I have two kids, and also just my experience mothering, and then also my daughter, who is now 12, and next month she's turning 12, and she's like gender non-binary, and she also was, that my kids have been in Islamic school for their whole lives up until last year. So I have a whole different kind of religious background as well. And so, yeah, it's kind of the culmination of all of these things happening in my life and kind of bringing me to this point.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And that, I know that you're on a mission to help women who feel disenfranchised from their religious and cultural backgrounds, and I suspect that that's you come from that place as well, and that you're guiding them to feel empowered and to understand some of the new lens of spirituality and our sole purpose here on earth at this time. So I was curious about that phrase, new lens of spirituality. What do you mean by that new lens of spirituality?
Yeah, thank you. I have, like, for my own personal story, I was in a 14-year marriage, and I was practicing pretty conservative, relatively speaking, from a Muslim background. And that's a whole other story. But, I suffered when I had a divorce, a new reality, and had to build a new life on all these different levels. And, that's where I kind of, I guess, took a left turn into more like energy work. And you start to hear about astrology and things that are going on, and what's going on with the solar flares, all these different things. And this was taking me out of like the traditional and into more of a mystical understanding of my religion, and these practices that we do every day, like meditating and sound healing and vibrational frequencies, and all of that different work that people do on the chakras and alignment. And so traditionally, Muslims don't really do all that work. It's more just the 5 daily prayers, and it's kind of, there's reasons for all that. But it is a very rich spiritual tradition. Like reading Quran has healing powers, and so we start to understand things, and kind of have a new lens of, like, for me, energy work and law of attraction, interviewing my guests about what that means, how these laws are activated, and the universal principles that connect us to source energy. And that's like the same as God or Allah or all these things. So that really is kind of the new lens, that's really where we can find our, you know, satisfaction in our religious and spiritual practices in a practical application, like for them on a day-to-day basis, um and not be constrained by all of that rules based like kind of thinking, and this is haram, this is bad, this is, it's like Christians have a lot of that too, where it's like, people are getting out of that real rule and constricted base belief lens, and they're moving into new lenses that work better for for their soul.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm here to really help with and help understand in that process.
Got it. Do you work with clients then to help them find a spiritual practice that works for them? Is that like there's so many different things that we can be doing to connect with energy, to connect with
Yeah.
source and whatnot. Or do you have a particular way that you like to teach your clients to?
No, yeah, it's that's part of what I leave to the coaches that are going to be in most alignment. But I definitely talk to, like, in the ascension journey process and the mapping calls that I'll do, and the group calls, we'll talk about, some people need to create a morning routine, and they, you want to do a meditation, or you do affirmations, or you want to do something more active. A lot of people want to have more movement. I do Pilates, I do ascension movements on my social media. I post about that. And then some people want to listen to the music that elevates their vibe. Some want to do art and vision boarding or journaling. And so, it's really not about like the rules around these things or what someone has to do, but it's finding what's in line for them. And I think that's what a lot of coaches, do also within this process, like working with clients. So, we want to provide like the best for what they feel suited to.
Right.
If you're Muslim, you still listen to Quran in the morning. It's nice, whatever. That's still what works, and what it's more about understanding, like the logical reason why you're doing something, or how to, regulate your emotional state, and, take, be not reactionary, but take time to pause, and then we talk about all kinds of different things about nervous system regulation and what's in alignment. So, there's a lot to do, and a lot of work to understand. And, that's why it's so important to get like a lot of information. People are very like hungry for what's going on. And so it's important to be able to get, your answers, and find what's in alignment with your own practices.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I hadn't heard of a spirituality consultant before, and it makes so much sense to me because there really are so many different modalities. And I talk a lot with my clients about connecting with nature.
Yeah,
That's my way in. That's a door, a portal to my highest self, and it is for a lot of people, but it's not
definitely.
necessarily the right approach for everybody. So
Yeah.
finding the right practices and things that resonate with you makes a lot of sense. So how much time would you spend with a consulting client to help them map out, to do their map so that they can get onto the path that's going to raise their consciousness and level up, so to speak?
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm doing in the embodied ascension program is, I have a intake call where I'll do a 90-minute ascension journey mapping call. We'll talk about all these things, and then I have a weekly group call with individualized attention. So like, I'll have I have the group, and then we'll talk through what's going on that week, and we'll walk through it. And then I provide one-on-one support on WhatsApp, and like, throughout the week. And then we have on Thursdays the expert partners talking on different subjects. So, and then we're having discussions on, what's going on, and there's different things happening with astrology and solar, which, portals are open, and all of that. So, this is what we're hearing about constantly. And so it's a community to do this, to do all that work. So, that's really what I'm doing, with the program, and that's one-on-one support community, as well as expert partners, expertise that are vetted, and all of that. So
So is the Unity Consciousness Collective, is that separate from the year-round embodiment ascension program, or are they interwoven together?
No, yeah, the program is the program, and the Unity Consciousness Collective is the collective of all of like the guests on my show,
Oh,
and
got you.
all the
Okay.
different referral based networking. So different spiritual backgrounds and traditions and modalities, and
Right.
the collective of referrals for people
Got
to
it.
get the best person for them. Yeah, so
Okay, got it.
and I'm eventually going to build out that website, and have like, I have a vision for the future on all the things that we can do as a collective, but
Yeah.
yeah, for now it's just like that networking group.
Awesome. Okay, really cool. So
Yeah.
if there was one thing that each of us could start doing today to raise our consciousness and hence
Yeah.
the collective consciousness, what would that be?
One thing. Well, I think we should all focus on the first piece, which is becoming more self-aware,
Mm,
introspection. And I like to think about doing that, like it is a daily practice. It leads into like affirmations and gratitude. You want to take, what you're thinking about, why it's important, and then every day, like in the morning, affirm with gratitude what you're grateful for, what you're going to be working on, what you're going to draw into your life, and creating a daily practice that's suitable. So, what I like to do, stretching and some movement. I think just taking a time before you go on your phone. A lot of experts talk about that, right? Like, do like a 20-minute before the phone. That's what I would recommend for everyone. I think it's a good practice to create, a meditative kind of experience, and something that's going to bring joy. Focus on what you're grateful for, and that it's a new day, and that we are here to do this work, and that's just
awesome.
staying in that frequency as much as possible throughout the day. Yeah.
Yeah. If people wanted to connect with you and get inspired by the things that you're doing and whatnot, what's the best way for them to connect and follow you?
Yeah, definitely. My website is just adinamovana.com, but my social media on Instagram, at Edina Mauvana. And I also have, LinkedIn, and, all the normal Facebook. I have Edina Mauvana and the Unity Consciousness Collective on Facebook as well. So there's definitely a couple different ways. And, I also just started a TikTok, but it's really,
And
I
I'm
think we're
gonna
all struggling with that one.
yeah, right. It's like, oh no, another platform I gotta figure out. Yeah. Is that your dance that you're doing on TikTok?
Oh my God, I do ascension exercises, so I'm like,
Awesome. Oh, beautiful.
I try to, it's like
Awesome.
fancy yoga, like on speed it up.
Perfect. Well,
Oh,
wonderful. I love the work that you're doing. I love that you are working to raise that collective consciousness. You're bringing people together, and that you've written a book. Congratulations, by the
oh,
way,
thank you.
on that and getting that out into the world. And check it out. The, what is, pardon me.
Ascension,
Oh, there he is.
ascension is the
Ascensions
new
in
attraction.
attraction. Yes, Ascensions in attraction.
Like,
Wonderful. Yeah, is a new
yeah,
page.
it's on Amazon and on a couple other bookstores websites now. But yeah, I haven't been promoting it as much as I should. And also, like, I like my podcast and my YouTube channel, and interviewing experts who are so knowledgeable in all these areas, and all the different coaches, like, and the work you do, Anita. And just you were a guest on my show, and like, I love interviewing and hearing about how people are doing this work, like in their own
Yeah.
individual ways, with their own individual backgrounds and specialties. And it's fascinating to me. It's like, what I enjoy most about it is just like learn, it's like learning from experts every day. And
Absolutely.
I want to bring that to people as well. So yeah, that's what we're here for. It's
Yeah,
really
very
exciting.
cool. And it was so great being on your show. You are a great host. You know how to
Yeah.
lead a really engaging conversation. And check it out. Into the Light is the name of her show.
Hmm.
And I'm so glad we got a chance to meet. I think having these conversations, you're just inspiring people to talk about this stuff and to
Yeah.
continue to attract more and expand, right? That's what we're doing. We're expanding into the
Totally.
light, if you will, by having
Yes.
these conversations. So it's really cool. So thank you
Thank you.
again for being here, for sharing your the work that you're doing, and being a light and guiding source for so many people. So
Thank
if you're listening to the show and if you're curious about expanding your spirituality and don't really know what direction to go, reach out to Edina. She would be a really great place to start, and just even giving you some directions and insights and doing that mapping. I love that Ascension journey mapping idea. It makes so much sense. So very, very
you.
cool. So
Awesome. Yes, I love it.
thank you again for being here. I don't know if you can suddenly hear the rain. It's just coming down.
Yeah,
It's just like,
we're
wow, I'm just getting really loud in here with the rain. Welcome to the west coast of Canada. So there you
oh
go.
my gosh, where are you located?
I'm on Bowen Island and the skies
Oh,
literally just opened up. Can you hear
I
the
heard it. Yeah, and you can see the window. It has a little bit
yeah,
of a
it's
yeah.
crazy. Perhaps that's a sign to wrap it up. And yeah,
Oh
so
my
thank you
gosh.
again, Adina, and thank you, Joyful Journeyer, for joining us today. Please share, like, comment, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. Thank you.